For over 10 years, I've been working with women who've undergone excision. Women come to see me because they need to talk about it and haven't often had the chance to do so. The impacts of excision are experienced on a daily basis. Particularly, those who have suffered its physical consequences live with a constant reminder of this type of persecution against women. Pregnancy and childbirth are often triggers that remind them of its consequences. Certain women are overwhelmed by the traumatic experience of excision. Some say they have nightmares. Others are overly vigilant about their children and always tend to overprotect them. They worry constantly about their daughters. All these reactions are normal. The situation varies from one person to another. It's important to let the person define her experience according to her own perception and its personal significance for her. Each person and each story are unique, but they all have points in common. To illustrate the difference from one woman to the next, for example, a person who underwent type 1 excision, where part of the clitoris was removed when she was a baby or a very young child, will probably not remember her excision. While the consequences can manifest later on in childhood or in adulthood, excision may not be a life-altering experience in her case. On the other hand, women who underwent excision at the age of 6 or 7 and were conscious when it took place, they remember it vividly and describe it to me as an extremely difficult experience. The women who come to see us are very strong because they've learned to deal with the physical complications of excision. They've adapted to living with pain from an early age.
Elles ont appris très jeunes à vivre avec la douleur.
But it isn't easy, especially when they discover that excision was not a necessary obligation in the context of their country of adoption. Quite often, emotions of anger and rage come to the surface, and justifiably so. We create space in therapy for the person to express her feelings of anger, which are taboo. During therapy, we help women find the words to express what they've experienced and gain a clearer vision of what they've been through. At times when you've had traumatic experiences, you forget some aspects. The women who confide in me are often speaking about it for the very first time. Or else, it's the first time they find themselves in a safe place where they can talk about it without being judged. Above all, this makes them feel better. It's interesting to note that women often hesitate to come and see me because they're afraid of being judged in the same way they were judged in their communities. And once they're here, we help them to realize that the experiences they describe and share, their hardships, the shame, the rage and anger they feel are all normal. I often tell the women who come to see us, you are normal. It's the violence you experience that's not normal.
qui est intéressant, c'est que dans
In a woman's country of origin, excision has a positive connotation. A woman who's undergone excision is thought to be dignified, clean, faithful to her husband. She'll bring good luck to her children and ensure them a better future.
Parfois, l'excision qui était vue comme quelque chose.
Whereas excision was considered a positive attribute that increased a woman's self-esteem and her value as a human being.
Tout d'un coup, la femme
When a woman finds herself in her adopted country, all of a sudden, some part of her is missing when she compares herself with the other women.
se compare à d'autres femmes, il lui manquait une partie d'elle. Et elle porte
She is carrying the burden of
quelque chose
shame.
de honteux. Et
During our therapy sessions, the woman is allowed to express her feelings,
on permet à cette
not only about what she went through in her home country,
pas seulement
but also how she feels about her experience here.
d'origine, mais aussi ici, comment elle le vit. Parfois, les intervenants n'ont pas l'habitude.
Sometimes a professional hasn't had much contact with excision
Ils vont voir
and will have a reaction of shock.
Eux-mêmes vont être en choc. Alors tout d'un coup,
So it becomes awkward for everyone concerned.
donc, j'encourage les intervenants
I encourage professionals to become more informed, to read about the subject,
à lire sur le
and to avoid working alone.
et surtout à ne jamais travailler seul, à consulter les intervenants.
They should consult other professionals and organizations with more knowledge about excision in order to feel supported in their work and increase their competency.
Dans leur intervention. Donc c'est important en tant
It's important for the professional to be non-judgmental and let the person define her own experience and specific
ses
needs.
propres besoins.